see what Ron says about himself. That he has Jack Kerouac as a patron saint, soul sister, or companion. Jack Kerouac as a soul sister. That's an interesting story. He loves, let's see, literature, religion, and he is a 4th generation East Sider. So here in Irvington, we love that. So everyone, here's Ron Smith.
Nice to see somebody that's like up to my height, because God knows. Pants are not a problem, shorts are, and size 17 shoes. Yeah.
I understand.
Oh yeah. And I know it's tougher for women to do, so it's like all my sympathy. All right. Well, to start with a Kerouac quote, everything I wrote is true, because I believe in what I saw. So, without further ado, the driving west of the Mississippi River to the Pacific Ocean is simultaneously adventurous and boring. From Missouri to northwestern Wyoming is flat, ongoing land that is quickly interrupted by mountains. To keep ourselves sane and stretched, my wife, Ronnie, and I would stop every couple hours at rest stops to do basic yoga poses. For myself, I would do a holding squat or a chair pose, followed by upward dog and downward dog, and ending with forearm planks. We would be looked upon with quirky eyes and laughter exploding cigarette smoke. It didn't matter. We were doing it for us. And there was something about doing yoga in the middle of the plains and before mountains, and we were beginning to touch ourselves, touching the entire universe. What lay behind us was a detached egoism, holding to an illusory hierarchical structure that we permitted to give us an identity. To speak of going to the west is one thing, but actually getting in the car and going west on a highway is an entirely different matter. There is something of a romantic nature to pick up what little you have and drive over 2,000 miles to Oregon's Pacific coast that comes from those who made the trip themselves, their adventures and successes. Something universal is assumed or even romanticized. Why would we not have the same joys and the same adventures and successes? I've read and reread Jack Kerouac's On the Road and Dharma Bums because I found in him a worthy companion to my wandering the Midwest and parts of the South, but I've never been west of Missouri. The connection I felt with Kerouac is so deep that for my senior seminar, I explained why Dharma Bums is relevant in the 21st century. We had finally packed up our things into an SUV we rented, along with our cat Gypsy, and left for the first destination of Lincoln, Nebraska. The stretch of the trip was about an 8-hour drive, but I did not realize how desolate that trip would be. I'm a city boy through and through, and that's putting it mildly. Fact is, I'm an urban diva, and I cannot function in rural areas. If there's not an independent coffee chain or Wi-Fi, I'm fucked. So when I say that the places I've lived and visited in the Midwest, they were all cities. St. Louis and Chicago primarily. Chicago is my second home. Unfortunately, I could not avoid living in a rural area when I went to Blackburn College in Carlinville, Illinois. But the education I received in literature and religion validated this painful experience. And the closest thing to a city, was Springfield, Illinois, the capital, and it resembled a dilapidated suburb. I mean, Noblesville on a bad day. So when I made this comment in one of my classes, I received dirty looks because, oh, that's the real city. No, honey, go to Chicago or St. Louis. But we made the trip, and it started with from going to Lincoln, from Carlinville, we had to go to Springfield, go up north, get on I-72, and drive to Hannibal, Missouri. And we literally bus up there. Mark Twain was born there. To get off on Highway 36 and drive across the northern part of the state to I-29 north, cut across the southwestern corner of Iowa, and take Highway 2 into Lincoln, Nebraska. At the last minute, while passing through Springfield, Ronnie and I had a craving for Wendy's. But we missed it, and I thought to myself, it's a fast food chain. We'll see plenty before they close at 2 in the morning. My naivety showed. Because I was wrong. Do you know what is in the landscape between Springfield, Illinois, and Lincoln, Nebraska? absolutely fucking nothing except long stretches of blood smears from deer who stood their ground against speeding semis. There are no fast food chains. There are no coffee shops. There are only solitary gas stations haunting the area of luminous ghosts who don't get the fucking hint to get to the other side. 9 hours of darkness and no food while gripping the steering wheel and watching for deer. When dawn finally arrived, we were in Lincoln and pulled into our hotel exhausted. We woke up at 2 in the afternoon, and I loaded the car while Ronnie mapped out the next leg of our trip to Riverton, Wyoming. Riverton would be about a 10-hour drive, but we would have to drive through the state highways to get to the center of the state. The route was direct enough. Take I-80 west to Rawlins, Wyoming. Get off on Highway 287 and turn again on Highway 135. Easy? Easy. Wrong. There are only 2 cities in Nebraska, Lincoln and Omaha. The rest of the state is rolling farmland that is a 6-hour stretch to Cheyenne. The only other state I've driven through that was long and boring was Pennsylvania. But Pennsylvania has nothing on Nebraska. After 4 hours, we were hungry. I mean, we stopped at a Perkins in Sidney, Nebraska, where we had coffee and the best potato pancakes I had outside my great-grandmother's house. We walked a few minutes, letting Gypsy out on her leash so she could walk about 2. Then we got in the car and drove towards Wyoming. When going west on I-80, you need to stop at the populated areas. You have to. Because you need to fill up on gas, food, and drinks because there is little to nothing between Lincoln and Cheyenne. And after Rawlins, Wyoming, there is nothing until Evanston, Wyoming, on the Utah border. About a 3-hour trip. But we weren't going I-80 straight to Portland, Oregon. No. The GPS said the direct route was state highways from Wyoming to Boise. We thought this sounded wise because I-80 does dip at Salt Lake City before it goes towards Boise, and would add more time to our trip. It was already after 11 at night when we went to a truck stop in Rawlins, where we put gas in the SUV, bought some coffee, and a little bit of snack food. We had a couple more hours for Riverton, and we had no idea what to expect from rural Wyoming. I thought northern Missouri was empty, but there seemed to be nothing and no one in rural Wyoming. It's like except for abandoned shacks. There was little to no light, and the darkness was thick. We kept our GPS loud and our eyes open. Then in Sweetwater, the GPS told us to take a turn at what we thought was a frontage road. The road itself was just wide enough for the SUV. Just. The road plateaued from a 5-foot incline, and from all the grass and weeds, looked like they had not been used since the Prohibition. The GPS told us to go 1 mile before we had to make a turn. It's 1 in the morning. It's raining, and the only light is from our headlights. When we reached the full mile, there was nothing but an abandoned field, and the GPS told us to continue for 3 more miles. I looked around the field, and I saw a buck and a mountain lion whose eyes gave off that eerie green glow reflecting our headlights. I don't know how strong a mountain lion is against a windshield, but if Kitty decided to cop an attitude, we were done for. I groaned down like, oh, fuck this. I made a 13-point turn. How I didn't get our car stuck, I'll never know because that was pretty much it. You know, and we got our way back to actual asphalt with my top knuckles on the steering wheel while Ronnie sat next to me taking his short, quick breaths. The place looked like the kind of area where serial killers live and do their deeds. We finally made our way to Riverton about 3 in the morning, and we were convinced that the GPS was the serial killer we needed to avoid. So, Ronnie and I left Riverton about 3 in the afternoon, and the GPS calculated a 9.5-hour trip to Boise. Most of the trip would be on vacant state highways, passing through sleepy towns and mountains until we reached I-84 and to get to our hotel. Almost 6 hours into the trip, we stopped to get gas in Arco and proceeded on our way. We were driving along the mountains. Ronnie pointed out to some deer on the side of the road. 3 of the deer were lounging like cats on the shoulder, just just doing the whole thing, and kind of almost cleaning themselves. And there were 2 standing next to the lounging trio, and one was dancing with indecisiveness. And I was like, do I want to die? Do I want to live? So I'm not playing around this, so I slowed down to 40. And the deer made a decision. He jumped in front of us. I felt the thud, and the airbag came out. My peripheral vision went black as I was staring through a cardboard tube. I saw that deer's body fly up of the hood, and I felt the rumbling of the SUV, and I knew I was off-road. My foot was pressing on a brake, burying into the floor, and the only thought in my head was, stopping the fucking car. The car finally stopped. I shook my head, and I brushed off the dust that had come out of the airbag. I couldn't open my door, and as I looked up, I saw 5 cars on the road that had stopped. 2 people rushed over to help us, while the others were on their cell phones calling for the sheriff and EMTs. I heard the engine hissing from the broken radiator. Ronnie was worried that this car would catch fire and explode. She jerked my door open, and I stumbled out of the car. Thankfully, nothing was broken. But I did have a series of bruises going diagonally from my chest to the bottom of my ribs.
Yeah.
And I asked her if she was all right. She checked on Gypsy and her carrier. Gypsy was fine, and in the midst of all the trauma and the stress and the whatevers, Ronnie forgot to put the harness on the leash on Gypsy, and she darted off to the sagebrush mountains. Ronnie was devastated, and the sheriff and the EMTs arrived and checked on her while I grabbed our rucksacks, my books, priorities, and her makeup. We were taken to the hospital to get checked out because the EMTs noticed that my heart was skipping beats and expressed concern. You may feel all right, but that is the adrenaline working through your system. We've seen people in a similar situation as yourself and died a couple hours later because of something internal after the adrenaline wore off. Ambulance rides to hospitals are expensive, but I did not want to take the chance of leaving Ronnie alone after we had been recently married. Later, the sheriff picked up at the hospital and took us to a nearby motel. We were able to procure a room to give us a little time to contact Hearst and tell them what happened and to get a replacement vehicle. The closest one was 2 hours south of us in Twin Falls, but they wouldn't come pick us up with another car. You know, we have money, we can pay you back. You, right? So, yay, Hearst. But we did manage to get a driver. So they have some kind of rural taxi service, and he took us down there, and the trip was absolutely terrible. He was a bad driver. Southern Idaho is like these winding roads, and you have lava rock over. Lava rock is like this. It looks like basically obsidian that will just cut you as soon as look at you. He's like just winding through, and we're like praying to God, please don't let us die. And we got to a city, was like, and he almost like runs into cars, almost gets into wrecks. And he was like unapologetically racist. And I'm trying not to like, you know, like just to say anything, to get through this. We finally dropped this off, we thanked him for his time, relieved to be parted from his company. We got our van. And the next morning we left our room and cleaned out the SUV, and then we left to go look for Gypsy. She was nowhere to be found. We called out her name, and Ronnie and I took different sides of the highway. I noticed on the side of the road Gypsy's little vest and collar folded neatly. I called Ronnie over to look at the display. We both reasoned that Gypsy had been picked up by other travelers, and these people were letting us know Gypsy was given a good home. Yeah, but we were still sad, obviously, and Ronnie wept streams. I walked over to where we had finally stopped and we hit the deer. I could see the trail of ripped and shredded sagebrush and where our car finally stopped. 12 inches from where the front of the car had been, I noticed a giant piece of lava rock.